Hey guys, so I decided to make an Emperor Scorpion care video because from all of them that I've seen, they don't really fully explain how to take care of them or do it incorrectly. And mine actually lives down here below this fish tank, so let me take her out so you could see the tank better. Alright, now that I have the Emperor Scorpion's cage out of the dark, I'll tell you why I was in there. They actually have to have periods of light dark with just most of the time being complete darkness. The light stresses them out a lot, and it's really good to have them somewhere off to the side. Now, what's in their cage, you need to have one hiding place on the hot end with a heating pad on the side. And the temperatures have to be about 80 degrees on the cool end in the whole tank and about 90 degrees over here. What you would use to measure the temperatures is a thermometer probe, which just is a digital thermometer. Then you attach right around here and you can see exactly what temperature and humidity it is. On the cool side, you need to have another hiding place. And in this one, I made it into a burrow. There's a curved top, and I dug underneath it so that she has like a natural burrow. And they also like to make them themselves, which is why you need to have at least 3 to 4 inches of dirt all the way across the bottom. And what I actually use for substrate is cocoa fiber, which does hold humidity pretty well since it needs to stay around 70% humidity around there, 60 to 80. What can help hold it is moss on the bottom, but I wouldn't cover the entire bottom with moss since they need to have room to burrow. And you also take a spray bottle and spray their cage daily to keep up humidity. And to help hold humidity, I put a little bit of saran wrap around the top. Not completely blocking any airflow, but it definitely does hold more of the moisture in than just a screen top would. And then a bowl of water to change daily. And, of course, the scorpion. And she's not too happy right now. I just moved her tank and had to take her into the light. Alright, now I have a cricket that just died today, which will be a lot easier to feed on tongs. And let's see if she's hungry. Now, for feeding your Emperor Scorpion, they eat about 3 to 4 crickets per week. So you would need a little cricket house and some vegetables, and also they have the multivitamin cricket food, and you need to load them for at least 24 hours, which is feeding them all this food, so that they get the nutrients that they need in them before you feed it to your scorpion, so it's not just an empty meal. Another good choice would be dubia roaches, which are actually healthier. And these ones are just my Madagascar roaches, but it's the same thing that you need pretty much to keep a colony. Or mealworms, but they're not that great of a choice. They're not really as healthy as crickets, which are not as healthy as the dubia roaches. And then the other thing you need for this are tongs. And that is what you use to feed your Emperor Scorpion, unless you want them to attack your hand, pretty much. Alright, so while she's finishing our cricket, I'm just going to do a quick summary of everything I said. So a 10 to 20 gallon tank, especially for only one scorpion, at least a 10 to 20 gallon tank. You can't have more in a 10 or anything. And at least one hide on the hot end and one hide on the cool end. You could use different things, like I had coconuts where you can just buy them for like 99 cents, break them, and then dry them out, and that can be a hide. You can use a piece of wood as long as you get it, and if it's from outside, bake it in the oven for about 10 minutes around like 250 degrees, and then you can use it. And then use about at least 3 to 4 inches of some sort of clean soil, like that doesn't have any sort of fertilizer or anything like that in it. You could use the ground cocoa fiber, peat, or like peat vermiculite mix, anything like that. Put some sphagnum or even sheet moss like I have in there. It'll hold the moisture a little better, so when you spray it about, at least once a day to keep up the humidity around 60 to 80%, and then keeping the temperatures with the heat pad on the side of the tank, not the bottom, with the cool end being 80 and the hot end being 90, and the water, and that's about it. Now, for anyone who is interested in getting a pet scorpion, you'll have to realize that they aren't just a pet that you can hold all the time. I only hold her about once a month, and only, not for long. Most of them will be okay if you hold them, but it stresses them out a lot. You're not always going to be stung or pinched, but I've seen a lot of people who have been, especially if you don't know exactly how they're feeling. I'm very careful with mine, Azaila, and you can't really move fast, you can't startle them at all, or else there is the risk of them pinching or stinging you. And if you are allergic, you could go into anaphylactic shock, or even if you aren't, it hurts really bad and there's a lot of bad symptoms. So if you're looking for a pet to hold, I wouldn't really recommend them, since besides the danger risk, it's also very, very stressful to them. You're a giant that's about to eat them in their eyes, so they don't really want to be held. Another thing is how they need very dark areas. Mine, you can't even see her tank with how it's basically behind a couch and under a fish tank, because that's where they're happiest. So it's not a pet that you can really just look at all the time either. So when you're considering these facts, it's not really what I would consider a popular pet, since there's not a lot of interaction or even being able to see them. For some people, I'd recommend a fish over them, since you could at least look at them. It's not that they'll all attack you, but it's just not a pet for everyone.